Hey, all right. Welcome to Silent Podcast, where we are anything but
Silent.
silent. I am your host, Mark, and with me, as always, my
It's
co-host.
Dave. It's Davey.
Whoop, whoop. How
Whoop,
are
whoop.
you, Davey? I talked to you twice in 1 week about Survivor New York. How much
I
of a
mean,
gift is that?
it is the gift that keeps on giving. But I honestly view Saturday as the end of the week and then Sunday as the start. So I
Okay.
think that we've missed each other by just a little bit.
Okay, fine. That's fair. That's very, very fair. But
Yes.
I don't know. It just seems to me that it feels like, you know what, we're here. We're gonna have a good time. Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
night. We have a really great episode talk about Survivor New York, Bannerman Island.
Yes.
And oh my god, dude, I am so happy with these guests that we have today.
Oh, I'm very, very happy from my own cast. I really trust these two to talk about any swap situation as I view them as swap maestros. So I guess without further ado,
Yeah.
let's welcome our guests.
All right. We have Andrea and Dresden. How are y'all?
Woo!
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
I
Of
feel so weird
course.
because I'm the only person that was not in Survivor New York 4 in this room
Oh,
today.
yeah.
But I love Survivor New York 4. It's a great season. We're not going to talk about placements, but if you guys, well, I mean, I don't like spoiling things,
Yes.
But y'all are three of the more fun characters in that season.
Period.
And I always love talking to y'all as human beings, and I'm so
Yes.
excited about this.
Dresden was one
Yeah.
of my mom's favorites.
Legend.
How can Dresden not be,
Paris, Frankfurt, Dresden. We know where that's from.
I like to think even out of the three of us here that participated in Survivor New York 4, while my time was probably shorter than the both of them, I'd like to think that I still made my mark on the season.
Mhm.
You definitely made your
From
mark.
the
You
jump.
definitely did.
From the jump.
From the jump.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Davey,
Yeah.
ask the question you always love to ask, and let's
Yes.
hear the answers.
Yes,
I
I
don't
love asking this question because it's Bannerman Island. We're talking about artilleries. We're talking about weaponry. So, if you were to be a weapon, what weapon would you be?
Ooh.
Either of you can start and can answer or start first.
I guess I'll go first. Let me take a sip before.
Oh, the
I
sip.
love that. I love that.
For those of
answer.
you only listening, Dresden has a cocktail.
So if I could be a weapon, I would be a knife, but not any
Yes.
knife. I would be the knife that Ghostface uses in the Scream movies.
Ooh,
Yes!
okay.
I always find myself in situations where, whether it's on purpose or on accident, I am always ostracized into being the villain. However, whenever I am the one holding the knife, if I'm going in terms of a game, if I'm going to take a stab at you, I'm just going to kill you off.
Oh,
And I'm just going to throw up Naomi's on this podcast. We choose violence.
Yes.
Scream 6. Can't wait for it.
Yes. That's a great answer, Dresden.
That's
I see that.
Yeah.
Andrea?
All right, so I think I would be smallpox because not enough people take it seriously as a threat. It's everywhere, and it's hard to get rid of, and really impossible to cure, and it's eventually going to take you out.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
Fuck, man.
Oh my god.
We're not even
I-
5
you know-
minutes into the podcast, and Andre calls us smallpox.
You know, it's funny because we've had guests that said that they're wands, like from Harry Potter. We've also
Bows
had
and
someone
arrows.
say bows and arrows. We've also had someone say that they're a lightsaber, but I've never heard someone talk about biological warfare, which is the smallpox.
Well,
Great answer.
That's,
That was
that's the
very
energy I'm
intelligent
bringing to
answer.
the podcast. Sorry, my cat is doesn't like that I'm doing this and not paying attention to her. So
Oh my
they're-
So
God.
you stroke the cat while saying you're smallpox.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get
get
started.
all into it.
Episode 5, titled "My Dream Has Come True."
Mhm.
A title where I'm not going to deny this. I couldn't figure out who said it until Davey told me. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And we were
Yeah.
just talking about before, which is hilarious to me.
My dream has come true. That's what I say at Disneyland when the fireworks go off. Woo!
I mean, my dream has come true. I'm on a podcast with 3 people that I love. So
Oh,
Period.
Dresden in real life, you know that. All right, let's get started.
Mhm.
Sopus, Ed says best case scenario is like is the final 4 of him, Brienne, and Sharif, and Stan. I
Mhm.
think that's a pretty good final 4 for what he wants, you know?
Yes. Um, I think in theory this is a good final 4, but I think it's hard to keep like if I was Ed, knowing that I would be going to the final 4 with Brienne, Stan, and Sharif, I'd be a little like I don't know what it is, like tight, like claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little tough to breathe.
It's tough because he's got the most quiet game of the 4 of them, I feel like.
I think that's hard. Like to go surrounded by people who are, big, flashy, players.
Mhm.
The people that have more like stealth-based games have to spend more time, like they work harder with jury management if in the event that they do get to the end explaining their games, opposed to the people that are already known to be playing these big and flashy games. So Ed standing like having in mind being in the final 4 with those people, I would be probably shitting bricks at his, like if I was in his position.
Like Brienne's already
Yeah.
very much out there. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, how I
Mhm.
love that she's still here, but I'm also like, how is she still here?
Brienne is relentless. Like
Relentless.
honestly,
It's why I
because we all
drafted her,
know
yeah.
I relate to Brienne a lot because we all know I struggled a lot during my season of making like those instant connections. So I envy her a little bit because while she's like making a lot of mistakes, people aren't trying to get back at her for it. So she's doing something right to still be there.
But she's like
Yes.
somebody who's definitely like she's really put herself out there. Like she's really
Mhm.
like tried to make moves and shake things up. And so I mean, I guess somebody could think, oh well maybe if I went to the end with her, like, she won't get votes because of that. But I don't know, if you overcome that early game and you make
Yeah.
it to the end, there's a lot to be said for that. So I think she's
Yeah.
really a threat.
Yeah, everybody loves a story and everybody loves a resume. I also do want to say, Justin, like I think in the first episode of the season, you wrote Brienne is relentless, and I was like, oh yes, that is a word that I'm going to use to like hashtag Brienne for the entire game because truly, a tour de force. Like
Yeah.
Brienne is really putting in work.
Like she could have easily went the round that Talk went. However, she really zeroed in on her connections with Sharif and Ed. And really, it was really her connections with them is what saved her from being the vote and having the votes land on Talk instead.
Yeah. She's really worked it. Like she's somebody I can really see watching the show who's actually like who's some people their back's not up against the wall. They just get to be, big threats because of who they are, other games that they played. But like her back has really been up against the wall and she's gotten out of it. And I admire that.
Yeah.
She has a way of like being a target, but then putting on somebody else. And there's something that she does in this episode that she sees as like detrimental to her game, but I honestly think it was like kind of smart on her part. And it's where she exposed Robin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we'll be gay there for sure, like once the swap happens. But like, it's a fascinating thing of like the fact that like Sharif and Ed have chosen her instead of Kayla, and like they keep choosing her instead of Kayla is so fascinating to me. Like that, like, and like Ed's like telling her like we just have to work together to get to the jury, and then like you're good. And like they like even do, I think they did a good job of trying to bury the hatchet. Honestly, like that little scene of them like by the rock where they're like, "Hey, we need each other. Let's you and me as far as we can go," And I think that that's an important thing,
Well, compare that to the Brianna and Kayla conversation, which It was so funny. I was like dying laughing.
It was really hard. It was really awkward. I think that brings up the conversation of letting bygones be bygones. Like personally, I think suck it up because closing yourself off to a vote is like really, really bad. Like regardless of how somebody has made you feel, if you really need each other, you should use each other. But to close somebody off based on personal feelings, question mark, I don't know, not I.
Yeah.
Yes, that's something I have a problem with.
I think we talk about like Dr. Stan though, like how like he's so ingratiated, like integrated inside of the Opus with it, and like what he's been there for probably 20 minutes, maybe an hour tops. And like he's like talking about like how he's like actually in a very good safe spot.
Yeah, he's like, I'm in this alliance and this alliance and this alliance, and I'm like, how is? I mean, I have much more to say about Stan in this episode. Who like even scenes he's not in, he's in.
Yeah,
and,
like last week's.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody's just like, oh, what'd Stan think? What would Stan do? I don't want to do anything to upset Stan. Oh my god! And like he's in like 8 million alliances. It's incredible the pull that he has over these people. So
he's very protected, because all of these people feel safe and comforted whenever with him still in the game. And if they continue to feel that way, then they're just going to allow him to get by and look to him to make decisions. And he has the potential to be the mastermind of this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the only thing he didn't mastermind or was protective of was his nipples, because they did not show in this first scene. So,
but they do later though. We do get
like the grainy, like the the sensor.
The sensor,
that for future, just
I just remembered to have to update the nipple count. Thank you. But we'll post that up later in the episode, of course, for those watching at home.
Yes.
Anything else you want to talk about Opus and the pre-reward challenge, immunity challenge stuff?
The only thing I wrote was, in quotation marks, watch how people answer direct questions. I think that Kayla asked a really like straight up question, like, can we work together? And I think Brienne answered truthfully. She was like, it's going to take a little bit of time to get my trust back, but like we could work together. If I was Kayla, I'd be like, oh, okay, fine, try. But
yeah, I mean, well, she kind of slid right into her confessional. I was like,
how'd that happen? I've never seen that before. Like, she's like, okay, bye. Now this is my thought. Like, what?
and I was like, oh, well, clearly, they're not going to work together. I don't know. Was that salvageable though? To me, I don't think it was. I
think it could have been. Like, I think they were like 75% there.
I feel like they were 20%.
Dresden, what do you think?
Honestly think it was more 40% there. Like, I feel like maybe Brienne would have like worked with like Kayla, like if it was just two of them against the boys or whatever.
Yeah.
However, like because I feel like because we know what we know, Brienne's not going to work with Kayla unless she's in a situation where she has to. I think Brienne was basically telling her, you voted for me, but had to back it up with something that Kayla wanted to hear. However, I don't think Kayla really fell for it, and she still knows that it's her against all of them, and that they would all choose each other over her at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I always want to bring up the fact that for when we get to Paul Pell, that they get tree mail, and then the tree mail is not like 200 yards away for the first time this season. It's like literally at the tree at the camp, like, oh yeah, maybe this is a swap of some sort. And like, I know there's not like literally we got like 30 seconds of Paul Pell in this carnation in this episode, but it's just like, it was just so funny, like not seeing like them walking for like 2 minutes out and then walking back to get tree mail. But I don't know. I know it doesn't need to be talked about. I just, as a person that likes that type of stuff, it came up as interesting to me.
You love when the shots are them just picking up the tree mail, like, oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's fun, Like anything to make it feel authentic is the thing that will always make me happy. Like I don't know. I mean, my theories when I play LRGs is like go hard and pretend it's real, but like be kind, because that's my theory in life.
Let's have people make actual fire and see what happens.
Yeah.
Fair.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I got a question from Jory Kalish. Andrea, how does
that's not a question for the chat. I will say the production value of these shows has astronomically increased. Like, shout out to Chris and Naomi and the whole crew. Like, going from, and I know that's not what Jordan's talking about, but going from season 1 to season 5, like, I mean, the audio quality of, really improved between 4 and 5. It's really quite incredible. It looks so professional, and Naomi's wizardry is just freaking fantastic.
And like you can easily see seasons 2 through 5 on the YouTube page, and like like the audio is pretty rough in season 2, and it gets a lot better in 3, and it's awesome by 4.
You can find one if you really, really try. It's out there.
I've heard. I need
lots of missing footage, and there's like screens where they're like, we lost this episode, but here's like a person narrating what happened in tribal council.
And it's just Alex just screaming the whole time, right?
Hashtag production value.
Yeah,
we love it. Like, it's cool because, like, like people go do LRGs for the real Survivor experience, right?
Yes, I would say that Survivor New York season 1 is giving Tubi TV, and compared to this season, it's very much Hulu status. So
come on, Hulu status.
We like Hulu. It's a big upgrade.
We do like Hulu.
Tubi TV.
What is Tubi TV?
Exactly.
Well, okay. Yeah, it's a streaming site.
Not a lot of people know about it, but if you do, I mean, you're probably not watching it for long.
All right, so I guess it's time to talk about the swappy baby.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so there's nothing.
I want to bring up, like, Stan is like not shocked at all that Andrew's gone.
I know. Like, usually people have a reaction, but he was just like,
okay.
Okay. We get to the swap, and there's nothing like putting your hand into the bag and holding on to a little token and being like this. Like, there truly is nothing like it, and I don't know if there's like an advantage to picking first to then picking last or like whatever, but the swap does get 2 tribes of 7.
And it's pretty well mixed up too, I think. I mean, I think one tribe, I believe it's the newest Sopas tribe, is pretty dominated by old Paul, but like otherwise it's pretty like spread out, except for the fact that each tribe has one of an old tribe member in it.
Yeah. So I've got my notes here. I don't just know this all the time. I've got, so it's I don't know the tribe names. Sorry.
Iona gets dissolved, so there's
the Sopas and Paul, yeah.
There's the one is 3 purple, 2 blue, and 1 green. That's McKenna. And then the other is that's a 3-3-1 split. The other's a 4-2-1 split, which is 4 green, 2 purple, 1 blue.
Stan saying free the nep.
Hashtag free the nep. That's right, Stan.
My God.
And of course, I feel for McKenna in this episode because I've never been swap screwed, but she comes pretty close to it in this episode. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, because both her and Brienne both were completely alone on their new tribes, and you see the fear in their eyes like the whole time for both.
Yeah.
Well, so I know 3 of the people on this podcast who played Survivor New York were in it. How much can I say about this?
You can say, because season 4 has been out. We don't have to divulge.
I just don't want to spoil things like severely.
I'm not gonna like say who won, but we were on a tribe swap, and it was a 2-2-2. And that's one where it's like these 2 people are together, and these 2 people are together, and these 2 people are together, and it's like there's a middle 2 that everyone's fighting over. And I think that this wasn't necessarily as it's different delineations, and the 3-3-1 is certainly very interesting. But we'll talk more about who gets voted out.
Especially because like the breakdowns of like the 3-3-1-2, like it's like the original Soapus ones are a Sharif, Ed, and Kayla, who aren't necessarily working together.
I know. If you could pick 3 people at least likely to gel. So I think Kayla would rather have been a 1, actually. I think if Kayla would rather have been the spot where it was just her.
I think at one point she did, like in one of her confessionals, she said that she would if she was going to be with anybody on her tribe, she would have rather it been with Brienne as opposed to the boys, because she thought that the boys were automatically going to be against her. However, I think she could have worked better with Brienne, but we'll see. We'll talk about more how it plays out.
Yeah. I also am intrigued, like in the newest Opus, like how it's Andy, Danny, Kristen, Robin, and then Jeremy and Stan and Brienne. I'm like, that's a very interesting combination. Like Jeremy's got these massive shields, and therefore Jeremy's a massive shield by proxy. We'll get to that, of course, in a bit when he calls himself that. I love Jeremy so much. I'm just prefacing that. He's a good friend, but he's Mr. Average.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Jeremy saying I'm average so many times. This is like the resume line.
Should we get to the challenge part now that we gone through the breakdowns of who's on what tribe? Yeah. This is the scariest type of challenge in the world to me. Like a memory challenge, not terrible, but like a complicated memory challenge like this, where there's like 9 figures on each tile, and there's like 3 tiles that look exactly the same, except for like one bird is going right and one bird is going left.
I love it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's probably more fun to. Yeah, I love it. I'm into that kind of thing, and I gotta say the red circle editing slaps.
Oh, that was great.
Good work, Naomi. I'm not here to suck up to Naomi.
It was giving like BB Comics in a way, because like you had to like go and like memorize, and then there was probably like some decoys in the mix, and you could be putting one puzzle piece in place, but be putting the wrong puzzle piece in place. So with all those dynamics, it made it like a really close race, which was very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I never did this challenge, but there's so many ways to do it. Okay, I have a question for everyone. On a scale from 1 to 10,
yes, SNY Comics for SNY All Stars when that happens.
Yes.
Sorry, Davey, I had to post that up immediately.
No, that's fine. I think that All Stars, whenever that is, should have Survivor New York comics. On a scale from 1 to 10, how do you think you did? How do you think you would have done on this challenge? Like 10 being, I would have rocked this challenge. 1 being like, please sit me out.
I think I would have did a solid 9 out of 10. And I say that because my second Survivor LRG that I played, we did something similar to this challenge. However, it was 1-on-1, and I beat the shit out of my opponent in the challenge. So that's why I say I would give it a solid 9 out of 10.
I'm like a 6 because like my memory is good. My second guessing would definitely come into it. I'm like definitely a 6 or 7 though, for sure. Like I'm not gonna be like a Dr. Stan where I stare at for like 2 minutes and then put like 8 tiles on the board. I'll be like, I'd rather put like 3 tiles on the board that I know very accurately for sure than like possibly fuck it up for everyone.
Well, now everyone else is so confident. I'm less confident, but I don't know. I'm like a 7.
Call your shot.
Davey seems like I'm 14.
I feel like compared to other challenges, like this is where I would except those summer skis. I was really good at summer skis, but like
you were actually, yeah.
Anything involving like hold this thing and don't drop it, I'm like. So,
somebody gift that, please.
I would probably concur with Dresden. I would say that I'm a 9 because I really like observing and like taking in and then like going back. I probably would have taken the stand route and like been smart and stand there and like really kind of synthesize what's on the board and then go back.
I mean, because he definitely was up there for at least 2 full rotations of people from the other tribe.
Yeah. I think Veronica was like moving really fast. She literally looked at it and then like sprinted back.
Did she not put her tiles up?
I think she put 1 tile up. I don't remember how many tiles she put up.
I thought I saw the no tiles after she went up there. I'm like, did you just like run up there, look at it, then run back?
I want to say on her first try, like, because like she started for her tribe.
Yeah.
And she didn't put any tiles up after her first run, but I'm not sure about like any attempts after that.
Yeah. Honestly, drink every time Chris says something is wrong.
But I do really love, like, even because this is like one of the hardest challenges out there. I really can't, like, I don't want to go like spoilers for like of anything really, but like I really love how they edited it so it's actually understandable as a viewer. And that's cool. Like that, like the circles were great. They made me very happy because you're like, what's wrong? It seems like it could be right. And then you see circle, and oh, okay, that the giraffe is going to.
Kudos to editing.
Yeah.
Kudos to editing. Whoever did that, kudos to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything more about the challenge before we talk about the tribe that won?
No, I do not.
Esopus keeps up their winning streak, even though it's new Esopus.
Esopus.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Also, did y'all peep Kristen's sunburn?
It's getting like weird around here. Yeah.
That's why sunscreen is essential.
I know her suffering. So, been there.
Yes.
Not in Survivor New York. I did get 32 mosquito bites though.
Oh my god!
Why'd you count them?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't feeling very good.
I mean, I feel like when you get mosquito bites, you really do have to count them. You're like, oh my god, I got 12.
It was bad. It was really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah,
so Esopus wins and they get a reward. I wonder who the mystery guest could be.
And you start hearing the loud screaming of a giant walking around the forest.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Well, wait.
Delivering food.
I think even before that, we got to talk, before we talk about the reward, we got to talk about Brienne.
Oh, yes, because that's immediate. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That happens immediately. So Robin's in the bathroom and they ask Brienne, you know, hey, who got the extra vote? And Brienne's like, oh, we gave it to Robin. What do you guys think about that? I don't have a strong, I mean, I think that's a hard place to come up with like a fake story. Like, not even.
I love Robin to death. However, I do think that's gonna hurt her. It may hurt her in the long run. And I think Brienne I think she made the smart move just because if we go back to season 4, whenever Liska was asked about idols and she decided to make up some story about Sam, we saw how that ended.
Yeah.
And so I think Brienne made the right decision to rat Robin out, and I think that they believe her. And I think that may help them trust her a little bit more.
Well,
I think that she is the only one out of the original Blue tribe.
It was especially convenient that Robin was in the bathroom. Oh yeah, Liska.
Oh, I love you, Liska.
I love you so much, Liska. I literally was talking to Liska yesterday, and but her lying was a little sus, and like I think that's a lesson. And sometimes there's a necessary lie and an unnecessary lie, and whatever Liska was talking about was not a necessary lie. And so I feel like Brienne could have gotten herself in a trap where she was like, oh, we gave it to Ari, and then they're like, well, that doesn't make sense because blah 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 happened. And it's easier just,
Yes.
Lisco was trying to
I mean,
protect you, Tress.
honestly, like that moment was so funny when Lisco was saying like, "Oh, this is what happened. This is what happened." I was eating my cheeseburger, and I think that you and I, Andrea, turned around and I was like, "Do you have a wafer?" And you were like, and I said, "Me neither," and we just walked away.
And I think that's what really that, especially on where you have a lot of people from different tribes, that's what really gelled. I think pink and blue is because everyone's like, what? So
yeah. I also want to like give a shout out to the other Polypel where the gears are clicking after Brianna's like, "Yeah, we gave it to Robin," and everybody's like, "You gave it to Robin?" And then Andy's like, "I knew it. Like Robin voted for me." Kristen's like, "Wait," and then Danny like finally clicks. That whole reaction was like a little Renaissance painting.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think that Robin putting an extra vote on Andy, was terrible or anything. I'm actually, I don't know. I think that Green was maybe just looking for something to be upset about, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal.
Also, like Robin's so good at like fixing things when they need to, and like I think like Brienne did the rightest thing for Brienne at this moment too. Personally, I don't think honesty is a bad thing, especially when you're on the wrong side of a tribe swap. And it could have gotten a lot worse for Brienne if she decided to lie. And Robin, for those that don't know, I mean, we all know Robin as a player. Like Robin's scrappy as fuck.
Yes.
And I mean that in the best possible way.
Oh
they rarely ever need to be scrappy, but when they're scrappy, they are scrappy.
Which speaking of scraps, can we talk about Robin eating the clue?
Oh my god, this is like the highlight of the season for me.
Oh my god.
I'm just sitting in my hotel room watching this. I'm like, what's happening? What's wrong with her?
Do we think that they made the right decision to give it to Stan?
Not necessarily, but like the whole like dramatics of them like eating their sandwich and then like being like, this doesn't look like good meat, and they're like, that's not meat, that's paper, pulling it out while no one notices and like tucking it in their hand in a weird way.
It was so funny. It was so
and you see their eyes like pop out.
It was great. It was great. It was great TV. Like
Robin really ate
that up, literally.
I wonder, did they like actually take a bite of the paper? Because like their face is like.
I think so. What if they'd eaten the clue though? Like, what do you do if like?
I would have actually ate the clue, and like I know me well enough. I'm like, oh man, that's stupid.
I feel like mechanically you can't bite through folded paper like that. Like you would notice, your teeth would be like,
I don't know. What if it gets wet in your mouth and then it's like it's
also. Great poker face from Robin, because if that was me, I would have been like, "What?"
Yeah,
and I probably would have freaked out.
Yeah,
oh my god, what's in my sandwich? Yeah. Shout out to the composure. We love that.
As your question mark about Stan though. No, I mean No. If the clue had just been you can give immunity to someone else, I see the logic. Like. I see if it was, you can give immunity to someone else if you win immunity up until the final 8. I can see the logic in thinking I'm not strong in individual immunity challenges. I should give it to somebody who's going to give it to me. I can see that. But they had 2 other options.
Yes, I get that they trust Stan. However, I don't think that they truly looked at the full menu or fully like assessed the whole situation before going through like what was in store with that whole menu.
Everybody running up to Stan, like it's like
I think that kind of also is evidence that Stan is the guy. Like Stan is he's like the Regina George of the season.
Yes,
like,
literally.
Everybody wants to do what he's doing. Everybody's worried about him. Everybody looks to him for a decision.
I mean, he has a nip count for a reason.
Okay. Mark,
Yeah.
Mark's the one who's brought up Stan's nipples like 8 times.
It's whatever. I blame Kai and Gary for that.
Yes. The only thing that I will, not the only thing, but I think that Robin's self-awareness with being like, I just can't win a challenge and I trust you to be able to win a challenge.
Yeah.
I think that was really good social capital and a nice like garnering favor. I think when you're in that situation, I mean, looking as a viewer, I just wish Robin would have trusted themselves and was like, you know what, maybe I can do this, because you don't know what the challenges are going to be. And so I mean, also knowing that Robin didn't really watch Survivor before this.
And then these games are more so about the resume, and putting a power into somebody else's hands is giving someone else the opportunity to build their resume. And that might have been a move that took away from Robin's, potential move that is going to be taken away from Robin's resume.
I mean, their history with Stan in minis is pretty much impeccable. Like it's like the type of thing where it's like they will never turn on each other, you know? And like that's good, like especially having an ally like that people don't necessarily know. But it's also like, is the ally that you're playing with someone that's already too powerful? That's where my concern is. And like also like the other things on the menu, I think that immunity is by far the best. Like unless you're fully swap screwed. Like if Brienne got it, maybe the mutiny would work. But like I don't think anyone else would do the mutiny beside for possibly Brienne. It was an extra vote chance.
Was not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like it makes sense in my mind. Like immunity +1 is great.
Yeah. That menu was pretty appetizing. It was fun.
We gotta talk about like the other half of the reward, you know, like the butler for the food. The 10-foot tall giant of Survivor New York and legend of Survivor New York. The technical Rob God of season 2, I guess.
Season 1.
And I've not seen season 1, so I can't.
I'm the only person who's seen season 1.
I'm sure it exists. You and Kalish have talked about it, and Alex supposedly played it, and maybe Danny too. It sounded like
no.
Okay, but yeah, Alex.
I just have to say, on crew, Alex was running back and forth while all the castaways were running to and from the board, and then they made him change into a polo to then deliver all the food. I was like, this is camp. This is pure camp, and it's hot.
Yes,
it's very
hot.
It's so hot. Like I'm hot watching this.
Where he has to wear. He always wears polos. He wore polos when he played seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Annie can come to Survivor New York in a tube top, bell-bottom jeans, and wedge flip-flops, then Alex Forstenhausler can wear polos.
I love Annie's crop top energy. I mean, you know, it's no slop top, but
it's no slop top.
Nothing beats slop top energy.
Sorry, no inside projection jokes here.
Yes.
Davey made me once. We'll tell you about it later. So Alex showing up. It was interesting. I mean, I was dying laughing when I saw it. It was also cringing. Like,
Well, I mean, he did give advice to the eventual winner of season 4.
Yeah,
true.
Semi-spoiler.
I mean,
it's not.
See the benefit of having someone to talk to. It's sort of like, you know, I can see the benefit of having someone to talk to, but it's not like he can really give them advice. It's like therapy. You know, you're paying to like hear yourself talk and figure out your own problems. But Alex isn't going to be like, well, that's stupid. Like, don't do that.
I mean, he's not a doctor, so he shouldn't say that.
I mean, yes, but so it's more about having, you know, somebody to talk to. I mean, I might be intrigued if Alex were there, but it's, you know, he can't play for one person or another. So
I just think that it's funny that Alex was like, hey guys, here's my sandwiches, here's some chips, and also if you want to have a one-on-one, I'm here. And everybody's like,
yeah, everyone's just like,
okay.
I don't know.
They're getting ready to eat their sandwiches, and then all of a sudden he goes, the last person that had a one-on-one with me won the game, and then you see boom, 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 like 11 shots on one-on-one. So funny.
Oh,
Salesman,
what would you
very good
say
job.
if you were on the reward with Alex? What would you talk to Alex about?
I've always wanted an org therapist. I feel like sometimes I spend a lot of time being an org therapist, an LRG therapist to others, and I just would want to like talk to him and ask him like, what is his read on my game, and what could I do better, and what are my strengths? I feel like that's not always a conversation that people get to have, and I would like his insight because I think his skill is longevity and really knowing the game.
I think I would ask him for like to boost me up. I think if I made it that far in the game, my brain would be a little bit shaky, especially with how this season's been. And my natural history with LRGs has not been good. So like my brain's just like, okay, I need a confidence boost because I'm almost at the jury. Don't get like too confident, but like something that like because me and Alex like we're good friends. For those that don't know me outside of here, we're good friends. But like it's that thing about it'd be nice to have like a friend be like, hey, you're doing good and keep going. But like don't play too hard, but play smart.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just let off a little steam. I would say how I really felt about some people in the game and how I probably like really feel about my stance in the game that I can't say out loud. And that way, whenever I go back into the game after talking with Alex, I feel like I have a little bit of a load lifted off of my shoulders and I can go with a clear head because I done gave him everything I was feeling. So
yeah.
Right.
I do love how it seems like all these talks were long because like they would not shut the fuck up according to Naomi. She's like, I was trying to make them laugh. Okay, let's keep top type 2 or 3 minutes. But like that means that this must have been like the longest round ever, which also explains why the sun like significantly sets.
Yeah, I was like, we have a whole like daytime.
Like it's like pitch black in the preview for next week, but like
what happened?
The sun goes down, the stars come out.
But it's just like, yeah, like it sounds like they all had like a 5-minute long conversation with them instead of a 3-minute long conversation with them.
I do think it would be nice to. I mean, when you're in your head and you're panicking, like it'd be nice to have somebody, calm me down. Specifically me, I needed calming down.
Yeah. Like we're both very similar type of people. You and me, like how like we would definitely want like that same like friendly presence,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things I would not have said, however, as we pivot to this. Anti-quote, I have to read this because Jeremy, how much was Jeremy paid to say this? Is Jeremy like just like a booster? Like is he getting some kind of kickbacks? Like I need to know.
Got the episode title.
Well, first of all, he's like Jeremy's like you should have won the season, and like he's telling Alex like what an honor it is. Like it was his dream to get you as a reward. I'm like, oh my god! If Alex, I'm sorry, I would have like given Alex so much shit if like I would have been like, oh, you again, and Jeremy. Like, I'm so amazed. I told Jeremy.
I'm so average. You're average and tall.
Yeah, Jeremy, like, my friend, and I told her I was going to make fun of him. Yeah. I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is like, I mean, like, it was intense. Like I was like watching it.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
oh my god, it was so funny. I still think there's like some kind of blackmail or like Jeremy saw Alex like
robbing a kitten or something like that.
I really do love in Jeremy's one-on-one like the cinematic single tear falling down his eye. When will I get that, Alex? When will I not be average?
Oh my god,
it was just so cute.
Actually, the line is, "I'm physically average as a specimen can be," which is just brought to me so much. Jeremy, you're a delight. I want to
love
say,
that, man.
You are.
Jeremy is my friend, and I did tell him I was going to make fun of him.
Yeah, like we should talk about like everyone's quick chat with Alex, right? Like
Yeah.
Kristen,
Yeah.
I think Kristen does the right thing. Like talks about the whole idol situation she found herself in, where like, and it was kind of like confirming that she did the right thing of trying to like fix things over,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Did
think the
Alex
advice.
have any? Oh, go ahead.
I think Jeremy should get the award for season 7.
Oh my God! Yes, I want Alex and Jeremy to do a reward together. That's what I want.
Oh, that's so great.
I think the advice that Alex gives Kristen about knowing the placement of an idol was really good.
Mhm.
And also I liked that Kristen used that time to be emotional, because I think sometimes in these games we're not allowed to feel emotional or be emotional, and like that was a great opportunity for Kristen to do so. Like, not with no judgment, with someone who really does have her best interest at heart. Like, that is the time to do it. As someone who, is a bad bitch that checks their feelings at the door.
Holding an idol in a game is very stressful as well, just because you don't want to be one of those people to not use it and go home, or you don't want to use it and it be like for no reason. And so, although when you're holding an idol, there's 10,000 more thoughts going on in your head on top of what's already going on in your head because of the idol. So
yeah, because you found idol very fast in season 4.
Yeah, so that's why I relate to Kristen a lot. And unfortunately, well, I'm not sure if like any other tribes know. However, it is unfortunate that her like tribe does know and found out the way that they found out, because people are wanting to check people's bags now. But
yeah.
Which I don't love that. I was quietly
I do not
about
like
that
at all. But luckily, no one's taking my bag.
You gotta wear baggy clothes. That's the you gotta wear baggy clothes, and you gotta put that
baggy clothes.
Nobody's gonna check.
Just put it like
baggy clothes. Hell no! I'm wearing like 5-inch maximum inch seams for my shorts. I'm wearing crew socks. I'm letting you see all this leg, and wherever I had the idol is wherever I had the idol.
Oh no, you're gonna put it on your butt, aren't you?
I mean, I don't know where
I'm not putting it on my ass, Mark.
But,
you're like tying it around your penis in a weird way, right?
Okay. No,
oh my God.
I was gonna say, a survivor win is a survivor win, so this is going somewhere on my body.
I will be putting it in the front of my pants. That's right.
Oh, no, I would definitely hide stuff down there. I just was graphic.
Or maybe I'll just bring my bucket hat and I'll put in my bucket hat. Who knows?
And never let your bucket hat leave your head.
Yeah. It'll be like I'll be doing a Robin, just holding on to my bucket hat the entire time, running through challenges.
That's probably not a great idea.
We get to Danny, and they talk he talks about like how Danny's in a good position right now, but like will he be in a good position in 3 votes basically, and how he get past that like 3. It sounds like Danny's history with games is he gets out. It sounds like it's out like at like 8th or 10th.
I think it goes back to when we were doing Survivor Philly coverage. We were talking about how everybody has their strengths in certain parts of the game, like different phases of the game. Danny can always make it submerge. Danny has a really hard time because of how he plays, how his relationships shake out, how his physicality is perceived, that he always struggles between that like 10th to like 6th range. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how like he maneuvers through that. And I also love that he said, I just want to choose the best group.
Aww.
Danny.
And he's in your draft. So
he is in my draft. I got fade drafted with Jeremy and Danny, and I'm rooting for them.
Hey, 3 of my 4 are still in, so I'm very happy with that. So
and
they're all on newest opus.
Yeah.
I actually we sometimes crew drafts, and I think I won. I won.
Wait, were you on crew for this season?
No, I was on crew for 3.
Oh, okay.
I won 3. I picked Gary.
Nice.
Oh, that's a spoiler, but really, if you hadn't watched 3 by this point, like, get out.
I mean, like,
And also watch our
Yeah.
coverage. He was in episode 2 for our coverage. He was great.
Yeah. So Gary, yeah. So I was
yes.
Awesome.
right.
I'm
All
a
right,
fan.
we talked a lot about Jeremy. We're going to Brienne next.
I think this was like the conversation she needed.
Yeah.
She talks about like how she fucked up the beginning of her game, and like knows that she fucked it up, and like how she was also bombarded by Paul Pell, and like now she feels like a lone wolf, and I'm like, I agree with everything she says here. And I think a lone wolf is a perfect way to describe what she has to do the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, talk about awareness. Like, that's an aware human being. Like, they're like, I fucked up. I'm gonna do my best to not to unfuck up, and hopefully it'll get me far.
It's yeah.
It's giving How to Get Away with Murder. It's very like, okay, so we got this big fuck up. How can we like thwart or fuck it up even more so that way nobody can realize what the last thing is, but I'm still like in this fucked up like circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like that. I also love How to Get Away with Murder.
I've never seen it.
Seasons like 1 and 2 are very good, and then it gets a little. I got listened. But great acting.
Yes.
Does anyone disagree with any advice that Alex gave?
To anyone or to
any of them?
I think he gave the advice that people need at that present moment.
Yes, I was gonna say like he's made it to like he sat in the final 3. Unlike for Survivor New York, I'll say he sat in the final 3. So if he's like if they needed someone, I guess he's the most credible at this point because he's made mistakes, but he's also has successful moments in the game. So I don't think he's like said anything that would actually detriment them. So
yeah.
I didn't have anything I was thinking of. I was just curious.
I do love the Andy Alex one. How like Andy immediately is like, my game is like that, and the camera points to like a dying crab in the water.
Yeah.
Or a crab struggling to live. And I'm like, oh my god, that's the most accurate assessment of a game I've ever heard. I don't know. I like Andy so much. I'm a little concerned about his game, but I really like Andy, and I think he's a really fun character.
Yeah, I didn't know Andy at all before. This is the one season I haven't been at, so I did crew for 3 and 6. But I don't know Andy at all. I have a hard time getting a read on Andy. I don't really like, there's some people that I don't know at all, like Kristen. I don't know at all, but I can sort of like peg them as, but I can't I like Andy, but I don't know if I like fully understand where his game's gonna go.
I really like Andy. I think he has like a very like easy-go-lucky personality that isn't like really it isn't like panicked at all. Like I don't when I think of Andy, I don't think what
I don't what's that like? Tell me more.
Right.
Panic?
I think he's just
he kind of reminds me of Matt from season 4 in a way. Like he's enjoying himself. And whether what I would want to see from him, I would like to see more like strategy and probably what he could do in more like gaming situations. But like he does remind me a lot about Matt, how he would, in the sense that he was very like laid back.
Yeah, Matt was there for the ride. He was there for the ride. Yeah. I also like the advice about Danny's perception of him being a shield. I think that came in really well.
Let me think. Sorry, continue.
It just goes to like Danny's advice of like hold back and like play even harder to like make sure that you are like holding back and playing as hard as you can. And then the advice of Andy being like, LOL, #taller, #funnier. Andy's coming for Alex's gig.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's weird because it's like he's like the suburban Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love that when we get to Stan looking using the advantage menu and stuff like that, we get the slow motion replay of Robin taking the bite, noticing the piece of paper, eyes get big, pulls the paper out and like tucks it away. I love that stuff so much. Like Robin's like amazing gift.
Yes.
Who do we? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, Kristen's advice was to have fun, and if you are going to play, you should have fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of Kristen, actually, so like it seems like Kristen and Brienne are really chumming up, and
that chat they have is so good.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I was like, cringe, but also this is really funny.
Yes.
I mean, was it that cringe?
I don't think it was cringe. I thought it was actually really funny.
Oh no, I mean it might be for the guy, but yeah, I mean like it's good to see them. I mean, it's great that they're bonding. I think that I think that like Brienne is already like working her way into that tribe. I think that I don't know, a couple like potential, cross tribal. I mean, Green's already together. It seems like they're gelling still. The purple, I mean, I think, Jeremy and Brienne seem to be talking a bit. I think that, it's interesting to see. I mean, everyone's talking to Stan, as we've already established.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see them.
And like Jeremy's like, hey, vote for Robin. And Brienne's like, I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I just love that. It's like, I'm a lone wolf. Like in my mind, she's like become like Batman type thing, like situation right now. I don't know. I'm such a nerd.
Yeah. I also love how Robin discloses they're hiding a relationship, like an in real life relationship. That's better than me.
Yeah.
I did not leverage my Sharif is hot. That is all. And great season so far. Hey y'all.
And that's the winner from Survivor Philadelphia, who we love so much.
I mean, Chrissy told no lies. Sharif like is 6'5", blue eyes, so kind.
The nicest.
I was sweating a little bit when I met him in person for one of the Survivor Brooklyn South seasons. So yeah, he's a little. He can have people's name.
He's also so charismatic and like caring. Very like just a stand-up guy. Cheers to you, Sharif.
Yeah.
He's very I met Sharif for the first time on Crew for 6 and he's the best. I think actually more so I think maybe I haven't seen so far in the season, what it is about like Sharif is kind of like the center of the Blue Tribe. And like, I think having met him in person, like he has this like, sort of like charisma and like way of like talking with people that's really genuine. And he's like, he's really hearing you. And I think that's sometimes like hard to capture in a narrative, but like he's really got a, I think like a personality that makes people drawn to him.
Aw.
Yeah,
and
he also
like
the show is telling us that we should be the group of the reward.
Thank you, Survivor New York, whoever you are.
My season 1 haven't aired yet by that point, so
I think I should be the reward for all seasons too. I'm gonna like.
Oh, I mean, you are the gift of season 4.
Also, the last thing I want to say about Sharif is he makes eye contact. He knows how to have a conversation.
Yeah.
He squares up. He'll like tell you, and he'll talk to you.
It's definitely that situation of like he's like lived a lot of places, been a lot of places, and like you have to like make friends quick, and like and like in a real way, not like I have to make friends. It's like, hey, I don't know how long I'll be here. Let's be friends. Like and he's like just the sweetest good dude. Also, before we finish this up, it's like it's interesting. Like the last thing we get is like Danny telling like the rest of the original Paul Pell to like stick together until like for a while if they can.
Yes, that transition from the bump to the other side is really good. Also, the last thing I will say is hashtag sense the schmooze. That's all I will say.
Lone Wolf.
Are you confused on what I'm saying, Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
Sense the schmooze when Brienne was like, or when Kristen was like, how do you feel about like the guys? And Brienne was like, I think they're kind of stupid.
Oh yeah, no,
I said girls like the girls can sense the schmooze. We'll see if that benefits them later.
Well, yeah, let's go to the Palapel tribe, right?
Go to Palapal.
Palapal?
Palapal.
And we like get like the inverse version, but still similar to like with Brienne, because McKenna is the only person from her original tribe on here, and asks Kayla on the outs like, if like before the swap she was trying to keep a low profile, and she tells her that she was like dead in the water, and she didn't want to be with Sharif or Ed over here, like. It's so weird because it feels like I feel like once that happens, I feel like McKenna starts being able to breathe. That like McKenna's not probably the first one gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there, it's like that weird thing. I'm like, okay, there's some wiggle room. I might not be fully fucked, but also like 3-3-1. I don't think you'd be fucked. And
no,
like you get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Swing. I was gonna sing All American Reject Swing, but I'm just not in the singing mood. I think McKenna does hold a lot of like power. I think it's very intimidating to be in that position. I would be sweating fucking bullets.
And it was hot, so yeah, no matter what.
Yeah, it was hot. But I don't know. I think that Kayla and McKenna did a really good job identifying like we're on the outs. We need to work together on this, and yeah, I also love by proxy and by proximity, Veronica is opening up more, and we're seeing a lot more of her gameplay.
We get a lot of her, yeah.
We get a lot of Veronica.
I loved Veronica this episode. Like,
I love her too.
I loved Veronica this episode.
Loved her, and honestly agreed. I agreed with like most of what she was saying. I thought that her read on the situation was absolutely correct. I think that it made a lot of sense. And I think like she sees Kayla, she's coming here, she's spilling tea. Call back, by the way, Kayla's like, my jaw literally dropped. And then going like,
yes. Hashtag 2 flashbacks.
I love it so much.
I love flashbacks. But yeah, no, Veronica just like, I think she really, and she's like, I think she really kind of has a read on that Kayla is like being really genuine and desperate. And Veronica's like, great, I can use this. And I was like really impressed with like her, navigating that situation.
Right.
And like she calls out a very true fact that the women have the numbers here.
Yes.
It's a 5-2 breakdown pretty much. So
yeah, it's like a pink elephant though.
Yeah.
I just wish. Anyways,
I like how she's very like she's very direct to the people that she trusts. Like some of the things that she's like, one of the funniest things that I think she said was like, and we can get to this later, but I just want to make a note of it now just because like it's in my head. But whenever like Ed's name eventually came up and she just automatically said, let's vote him out. I'll vote him out right now or something of the sort. And she was ready, like she was with the shits. And I was and that was just so funny to me. Like Veronica really, whenever it comes to people that she does trust, she has no problem displaying how she's feeling at the moment. And I respect that about Veronica. I love it.
Yeah. I respect her directness. I mean, like she's really direct with Julia. It seems like when McKenna and Kayla are talking with her, she's like very like
she knows who to be direct to and she knows when to card stack with certain people, like not give all the information, but some information to certain people.
She's a lot better without Jeremy.
Yes.
Like I'm not saying Jeremy is bad, but I feel like he's the type of person that's going to dominate the airwaves with what his feelings are, and not let someone else who has valid opinions too have them be said. I'm not saying like, yeah, I don't think
No,
either
we know
were
what you're
bad,
saying.
Yeah,
but it's that thing of like watching her be dominant instead of just be like in his pocket for like that, where like as a duo, where she's like, well, we should do this, and like and like listening and like knowing who she can say that type of stuff to she's got a really good read, and like I feel a lot better for her as a character now with this episode.
I was oh no, I was gonna say so the tea is Veronica is one of my really good friends, and I didn't know what her Survivor experience was before this. All I knew is that she really wanted to play, and she did the research. She wanted to watch Survivor in New York and see what it was like, and then she tried out, she got on, and I was a little worried because she was purple, literally purple, on the Purple Tribe in the first couple of episodes. But this episode, I think she shined, and she was able to assert herself in some of the strategy, which is really, really great. I think to your point of conversely, it's like very interesting to see the juxtaposition between someone as direct as Veronica versus someone who is like really trying to suss out and think like Julia.
So Julia is somebody who I've, first of all, loved Julia, think she's fantastic. Like somebody in the first couple episodes, like I really like Julia's vibe, but here I had more trouble understanding Julia's logic than Veronica's. And it seemed like Julia didn't seem to trust Kayla, and that felt like a really wrong read on the situation for me. And also, Julia, like it seemed like she's worried about what Stan thinks, and I'm like, oh my god, we're talking about Stan. He's not even on this freaking tribe.
Well, I do want to like point out, and I could stand correct. Well, I could be corrected, but I want to say it was either the first or second episode. Stan had said something about like the first night he felt really good vibe. Like basically there was like an agreement or like a good vibe between him, Julia, and Ed, and I think it was one other person.
It was Robin, Sharif,
and Sharif.
The Dragonflies.
So I don't know whether like her hearing Ed's name coming out of Kayla's mouth is what maybe ignited her to push Kayla's name in a relentless manner. But I think that could be possibly why she was doing that. But watching this episode, and watching this episode only, I could see where it could be confusing to like why she wouldn't want to just vote with it. Well, want to rally the girls up instead of being against one of her own.
In that case, I think I don't know. Were they really that tight with Annie? It seems like
it's hard to tell.
It seems like Kayla was more desperate to work with them.
Yes,
and that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they should have voted Annie out or should have voted anybody out, but like, I think that like there were other options that I think. I bet she was being like, let's vote out. Julia was like, let's vote out McKenna. And I was like, what? That makes no sense. Like, I don't know. I guess to me, like, if they weren't going to pick off the guys, then, I don't know. Seems
So yeah, like McKenna just brought this up that like when the swap happened, Veronica said we got you and gave her a hug on the mat, and that was like really sweet. And like that's the thing that I really like. Veronica is a very good, sweet, kind person. I mean, like I didn't meet her until last summer, and like I was immediately drawn to the kindness that was very visible, and like I've gotten closer to her since then, and like I'm like, she's good people, and like it actually radiates.
I really
like, like it's that thing of like, it's really nice seeing how she communicates with the rest of her tribe. She's a teacher, right, Davey?
She is.
Yeah, I mean, and
she's literally my teacher neighbor.
Like next door?
Yeah, she's the classroom next to mine.
Oh, that's so cute.
Nice.
Very cute. So I'm always checking up on her.
Yeah.
I also think that like to your point, Dresden, about Veronica being direct, I love how Veronica was like, Edsel, Sharif, why don't we just do Annie? And then literally goes to Annie and was like, I think you might get 2 votes, girl.
That was so funny. He's like, she
That was
literally
really
put
funny.
her up there and then was like, oh, they're talking about you, sorry. And Andy's like, oh, that's fine. Which, like, I've been in that spot where they're like, oh, by the way, you know, you're the decoy again.
Annie's very funny to me because, like, I think that she's comfortable, which is okay, but I don't want her to be too comfortable to where, like, people are maybe telling you, like, hey, I'm throwing your name out, but people are really throwing your name out. Like, whether people are throwing your name out, that may be a vote for you, and traction can gain off of that. So make sure you're doing your part too. So you know,
traction does gain for her.
Yes, it did.
Like if there was some miscommunication, she's gone.
Yeah. I thought it really could be Annie. Like I thought, I thought, you know, if they decided, okay, we're, you know, Julia convinces them not to do, you know, Sharif or Ed, then it really could be Annie. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. I kind of thought, I remember one of the things I love, and maybe this is because I'm vain, was Julia talking earlier in the season about how she wanted to lead the Misfit Toys, like from season 4. And I was like, yes, I love that energy. But like, I feel like Kayla, you know, was like a perfect opportunity to pick up with somebody who like doesn't have any allies. And like, you know, instead Julia's alliance is kind of like, you know, is some bigger, flashier players. And I love Misfit Toys. Julia, more Misfit Toys.
I really have to bring it up then, like right now, like so, like I do think that original Sopas does mostly try to stick together in this episode.
They try.
I mean, like because like Sharif and Ed vote exactly how they said they're going to vote, which is not against Kayla.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Like that's fascinating to me.
That is fascinating.
Like we're not gonna, like, I mean, we're not at the vote yet, but like literally, like on like by minute 5 in like this like part streams, like we're voting Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kayla was a little blinded by like trying to do the right thing of watching who goes off with who.
Yeah.
And every time she looked, she saw Ed and Sharif walking off, so I understand her paranoia.
Yeah.
McKenna says, it would have been Annie if Kayla hadn't told me she was going Ed and I didn't want to tie votes.
That's reads so true from like what I saw in the episode too. It felt like the Ed vote came out of unfortunate paranoia from Kayla. That like she couldn't trust them when they were. I'd say this is probably the most trustworthy that Sharif and Ed have been to anyone outside of Sharif and Ed this season.
Yeah. I think as a, you know, when you swap, like betraying your original tribe is a big thing to do, and people, you know, tend to stick with it more than not. And so like from their point of view, you know, they don't really trust Kayla and they're sus of her, but like, you know, they definitely don't trust Annie. You know, that is it's interesting how that shakes out. I don't know. Do you think Kayla really felt like she was getting traction? I mean, for Ed, or does everybody think she just, you know, thought she was going home and was like,
I don't know. Like
I think she maybe relied a little too much on Veronica because I think like she was out of all the girls. I think she trusted Veronica the most, and Veronica, I will say, Veronica was telling people a lot of things. Like she was telling Kayla, yes, I'll vote for Ed. She was telling Julia, well, if you want to do Kayla, I'm fine with that. She was telling the boys, we'll do Annie. And so Veronica was being very convincing, obviously, because the people that she was telling, like as far as like the 2 boys and Kayla, they were voting the way that they voted the way that they thought Veronica wanted them to. So
Yeah. I think the reason why Kayla resonated with so much with Veronica is because they're both straight shooters. They will say whatever the fuck they want to say, and they're just like, that's what Kayla needed. Someone that wasn't gonna bullshit her.
Yes.
I mean, she had a really rough first 5 episodes of the season. Well, all 5 episodes of the season, really. But like, I mean, like, she was definitely the person that definitely, I'd say, of the 4 Ahsopas that were left from the original tribe at the top of this episode, she was probably on the shakiest ground. And like, when you're on shaky ground, you do weird things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's so easy for us to sit here and like armchair quarterback, and you're there, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
This is why I do bad in every game I play.
No,
I'm so paranoid. I want to talk about like the Veronica and Julia debate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that was one of the most interesting 2-person conversations I've seen in a long time. Like how they both make such great valid points while being on the opposite sides while definitely working together.
Yeah. Yes. I'm in love with how Julia is trying to keep her pathways open, as she says.
Yes.
And in a game where everyone is being so shisty, like, I think that it's very intuitive for Julia to be like, I don't want to cut off anything. Like, like, you can see the gears moving in Julia's head being like, if we take out McKenna, we lose this. If we take out Kayla, we'll lose this. So what do you want to do? And Veronica's like, I want to do this. And Julia's like, oh, come on. Different motivations.
I very much like Julia's. I mean, I think her vibe is really like. I think that she's really got like a good like sort of a lot of different sort of social relationships with a lot of people across various tribes, and I think she's in I think she's in a really strong position and could go far. I think maybe I was a little more persuaded by Veronica's arguments here. But I do personally love Julia as a player, and I think she's playing a really good game.
I'm gonna say while I was a little disappointed like with Julia for wanting to target Kayla because I love Kayla. However, I understand why Julia wanted to target Kayla. And it's amazing how she does have pathways and how she is thinking about what are the pros and cons to voting out anybody in the game. She's thinking long term. Out of everyone on that tribe, I think she's doing the best job thinking long term.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Agreed.
Agreed. Like, also, I think that like she keeps saying that Annie is sketchy.
I mean, Annie has revealed it. Oh, go.
I mean, it feels like it's sort of true, at least tribe thought wise, because you don't really see her in that many conversations. Most time we see Annie, she's alone. Now, I wonder if that's because like she wasn't gelling with people besides for Stan and Jeremy, as we learned last episode. But like, it's really fascinating to me that most of the time we see her, she is alone. I think 70% of the time we see her, maybe 60%, maybe 80% of the time. But I don't know.
I think she just. I think because Annie's gift of gab has now revealed itself to be, I guess, like a liability or at least like a problem to some of the players. I think now she's relegated herself to being a little bit of the decoy, and I think she's partly by herself because people don't want to like include her in a lot of conversations. Is that like
person who talks a lot, who's always the decoy, and it gets excluded from stuff?
What?
Like, beginning with an A.
They can't figure her out, but because there are other people in the game that may appear more threatening, they just save her for later, it seems like.
She's also from the South, too.
I feel her energy. I really do. I'll be honest, like I love, I mean, I'm not just saying this to like, blow smoke, but I genuinely love every person on this cast. I think they're all freaking fantastic. So I think that Annie's a delight. I don't know. I think I don't know what the right answer was here. I think it's just.
She's also super fucking smart. Like,
yes,
like
Annie's very smart. I'm
like
still
she gets the absolute like last confessional, not mistaken, before the tribal council, where it's like, I gotta be smart with this because it might ruin my game with whatever way I go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we have to go about any vote.
Right.
Like especially if you feel like you have a chance to win. I'm granted this is final 14, soon be final 13, but like you have to like look at it and be like, okay, it can't go further with this person or that person. And
right.
I mean that she's really smart, and I think she's a gift to the season.
Yeah, she's such a stan. I'm a stanny, and I will continue to be. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we move on to the tribal?
I'll just add that I did like Veronica and Julia's, like, I love that, like, when a pair disagrees and still like comes together. I love like seeing people disagree and like know they're going to vote together, like whatever they decide. And I think that's like a real asset to have in any game. And like if you can have that with an ally, that's really incredible. And you don't see that a lot.
And on the original Purple Tribe, it seemed as if like Veronica and Jeremy, I hope I'm saying the right person, seemed like they were a little bit tighter than what Julia. And Julia, she also does a good job of recognizing these connections. And I think she even recognized how like tight Veronica and Jeremy are. And so she kind of like used this swap to sway Veronica a little bit and maybe show Veronica that, hey, I'm here, I'm someone that you can work with just as well as Jeremy. So I think Julia did a good job with that too.
Let's go, Julia.
Yes,
definitely the conversation of the episode, I think, by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. All right, I guess it's time for tribal.
Oh, this hurts.
No, I love Kayla.
I love Kayla.
I related to Kayla's position so much. I think Kayla's great. I think Kayla really fought for herself. I think that, like, I mean, like, I think that there may be, I think that Kayla, she really went for it and she really played hard in her short time in this season. So
I think it really sucked to like now see the rationalizing with a loss. Now put the target on either Ed, Annie, or Kayla. And I think what really sucks is like there's also now the discourse of like big strong guys. Like I can't speak for the other people on this panel, but I don't consider myself to be a big strong guy. Like I'm not gonna be someone who's lifting like, crates and shit. Like I'm not gonna be someone who can like, maybe I could beat you in like a rope wrestle or a pole wrestle, but like I'm not like a big kind of guy like that. Oh yeah, I'll do it.
They both
I do think there's, even amongst women, which I'll admit I've probably done this too, like a bit of a bias where like there's an assumption of like, men are like stronger as players and like therefore we have to keep them for tribe strength. And that's why Jeremy going around like being like, I'm average and like it's so funny. But at the same time, there is like a lot of these challenges. I think maybe if we're on the show and it's like, you've got like, Jonathan, like the, Greek god who's can, hold up 3 people in his, the palms of his hands, like that's an asset. But like, I think like, running around on a beach and doing grappling hooks and puzzles and that kind of thing, like, I'm not sure that there's like a real inherent like gender bias.
I agree.
Yeah. I always just wonder what I would be on this season, like, because I'm just not a big strong guy, and there's
I'm a big guy, but I'm not strong.
Yeah.
I'm none of those things. So
I identify
strong.
I identify as a bad bitch. So
Yes, bad bitch.
so
I think to combat the
so I can socialize with the girls, but if the boys want to get scrappy, I'm throwing hands too. So
yes, you better throw those hands. I think to combat the big strong guys, we need the bad bitch alliance.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else to talk about in trial before we get to the vote, or?
I think the last thing that Chris says, I mean the last thing that any host says before it's time to vote is like, is there anything else anybody wants to say before the vote? And like the biggest advice that McKenna had used, as well as, you know, just like what I think a big rule of thumb is, if you think that you could be the vote, you better say something.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to have said it and not have to say it than like not and then go home. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Always can have a live tribal.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we are vote. We get 1 vote for Ed, 2 for Annie, and 4 for Kayla. Kayla rocks. I mean, like, she's someone I've become pretty good friends with in the last few months. I think that she is a dynamite player, a better human than a player, and just good people. It's just good. Like you just say, oh man, like I want to move a boulder for her, even though she doesn't. She'll do it herself. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I want to be on her side.
Yeah, look at you being a big, strong guy for Kayla.
I'm a foot taller than her. I'm at least a foot taller than her, but like I don't know. It's a thing of like, she's one of those personalities that like is so freaking cool and kind and like really like she's like Sharif, where she can talk to anyone, and like be cool with everyone because like, you know, she's a good open-minded person, and it sucks. Like these games suck because like if you get in your head, you either misread situations or you fuck up. And that's kind of what happened here, I feel like, you know?
Yeah. I think that she probably thought that didn't trust that the boys were really voting for Annie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think that there was anything wrong that I could have said about how Caleb played this first time, because she did all the things that she could have done. She tried to make connections. She tried to vote a certain way. She sussed things out. She is just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Like me being in Kalish's car to go to Survivor New York 4, and then me being in the car and Kayla being the Davey in the situation, like it was so nice to meet her, and I just felt like such a genuine joy from her presence, and I hope that when she does choose to play again, that she like takes it all, and one of these days she'll really feel the love.
She's got winner potential. I think that her reads were I think that like being suspicious that, you know, Ed and Sharif were really voting for Annie is legit. I think that believing that Veronica was voting for Ed is legit. And, you know, I don't think that she had like any reads that were just like way out there, which is always my fear when I play, that I'm gonna, you know, make something that's not happening. So.
Yeah.
I think that I think her reads were accurate for the most part, and swaps are very stressful. They're very hard, especially if you're already on the bottom and then you're going in a situation where you're potentially on the bottom again. I think she did a good job at trying to create relationships. She did a better job than I did in season 4. I just had an idol to save my ass. So she has social player potential. She has winner potential, and I could see her blossoming in another LRG. So
yeah, Yes. Kayla, I hope you're watching, or I hope you're listening to this, because you have 4 people that really, really love you, and you rock.
Yeah.
Woo!
Wow, you're turning into me,
Woo.
Davey.
What'd you say?
You're turning into me slowly but surely.
Oh, just kidding.
Weird noises.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else?
I mean, we got to talk about the next time on, right?
Yeah, Jeremy
Yeah.
saying he's average again.
Well, I mean, at the nighttime blindfold puzzle, like it's dark out. Annie is confused by the boys. Jeremy's not a big burly person, but has shields. And then Ed guards his balls for like 10 seconds of the preview.
Oh, blindfolds. Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
That that competition still scars me because I just remember. And if you haven't watched season 4, then go watch it because I'm going to say shit. But it just scars me because I remember competing in a competition similar, and Jack being the caller and me running into them cardboard, the wooden blocks,
cubes,
and my shins catching heat from that. So that's watching that competition play out next week is probably going to scar me a little bit, being that I still haven't completely gotten over it.
You're just like missing like a fingertip from it.
Yeah. I always think of the YouTube Survivor compilations where like all the castaways on the real show are bumping into the cube and they're like,
it's always like Spencer like falling over. Yeah.
Oh,
because he got hit in his nuts like 15 times.
Good thing that the blocks are baby size, because if they were any bigger, I think people would really get hurt like they do on the actual Survivor.
Oh, that's exciting. We got an exclusive here. So next episode is a double elimination. 2 challenges, 2 Bannerman Island twists, and 2 people are sent packing.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wait, does that mean like that jury phase then?
It's probably jury is probably coming up.
It might start next week. I have no idea.
I mean, just like the players were this season or on this episode, like the speculation for swaps and merges is just so fun. It's like I love thinking like, when is the merge gonna happen? Who knows?
And then of course Survivor New York responds to me. Maybe not, Mark. I don't know.
As long as you don't do them people like you did us, Chris. Everyone drop your expectations.
Get the fuck out, Chris.
No. Oh man, I think this is the most stressful part of the game because everybody wants to make the merge, and so it's everybody just is like one more vote. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's hard.
About the
expectations for that.
That's definitely Naomi Calhounism.
Right.
Awesome. Anything else to talk about in this episode?
No. I just. What'd you say?
I said I love everybody.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this season.
This season is so good. I'm eating all my vowels. Yes. We want to thank you both for joining us on this pod.
Yeah.
It was a really fun time, and it's always nice to hang out. I hardly ever get to see Survivor New York 4 people anymore unless it's like at a watch party. So to have you both join has been really, very helpful.
Yes.
And fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us. I mean, this is all
yes, thank you, Davey and Mark. It has been I am I don't know if you're still in Asheville, Andrea, but I'm probably like one of the farthest people away from everyone in this in the Survivor New York community. So anytime that I do get to be surrounded by y'all, it's a good time.
Yeah, I was so happy when I finally got a chance to meet you because we first met in the top of the pandemic, and I'm like, oh, Dresden seems cool as hell. And when I met you last year, it was the happiest thing because I'm like, oh, you're exactly who I wanted you to be. It makes me very happy. So
Yeah, Dresden,
And Andrea, I love always talking to you because you're like one of my best friends out here. So
well, I love talking to you guys. I mean, I also love the sound of my own voice, so this is like a perfect combination. But
Yeah.
this is a real treat. So
awesome. Yeah, tell people how they can follow you or if anything interesting coming up.
You can follow me on Twitter, but like I just tweet about work stuff, so you probably don't want to. But you can follow me on Instagram and see me taking a bunch of selfies if that really appeals to you.
With the new cool coat.
I am active on Instagram, Mr. ___ that is 2 underscores, adorable. And I'm active on Facebook. And since you said something about announcements, I will probably make the official announcement on Facebook. But for those of you watching, I will say it here. My Survivor journey is not over. And me and my sister have not made the official announcement yet, but my sister and I will be competing in Can You Survive Season 3, Blood versus Water.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
For the Start Out group, which is a charity that caters to entrepreneurs that are struggling to get their feet wet because they are a part of that community. So
Dresden,
so you guys will be
awesome.
seeing me getting dirty, sweating, and being stressed out very soon.
Well,
can't wait. Weird. I'm ready.
Dresden, you need to send your charity because
Yes,
I will donate.
I'm gonna.
And also,
So me and my sister are gonna make an official post for that. We're actually in the process of like moving into a new apartment, and when we get settled into our apartment, which should be in like in a week or two, we will make the official announcement. And this will be my sister's first official LRG. And she doesn't know what she's getting herself into. And I'm not sure if I should be the best teacher just because in terms of Survivor, I've never made it to a merge. However, we're going to watch this. We're going to try to watch every episode of this new Survivor season. And we're going to try our best. And I just hope that she doesn't wear weave because she loves to wear her natural hair. And I'm trying to tell her, you don't wear your weave. Make sure like you wear baggy clothes. Make sure like I just tell her.
I go yes to the weave. I'm pro weave here.
Yes. So my sister is more of a BGC girl, like Bad Girls Club girl. So I hope that she can. I hope that she can get it together because this is going to be definitely out of her comfort zone. But she's doing it with me, and I wouldn't want to do a Blood versus Water season with anyone else. So
that's so exciting.
Yeah. So
you know that there's
You said what?
I know. Did you know that there's 3 Survivor New York alum that have played Can You Survive?
Yeah.
I follow
Albie,
on Facebook
Bennett, and Kyle.
Yes.
Who's the first one?
Ma'am. Albie.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. So I will be the 4th, as far as I know.
I'm sure Forstenhausers will be there. Awesome. That's so exciting.
But we will make the official post and with the information for people to donate if they would like to. So
cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, did you want to go first or should I go first?
I'll go first. You can follow me at Davey Sack on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. DAVEYYSAK. Also, I'm plugging my TikTok because apparently I'm feeling really creative. It's NAP SAK 96. I don't know what my first TikTok of 2023 will be. I've just been scrolling, but I think I'm gonna make something pretty soon.
Yeah. Valencia's shouting out, of course. You gotta like and subscribe on everything that's on a podcast. If you like what we're showing tonight, press a little that little button on there to subscribe. We got a lot of really great videos on the YouTubes and everything. And of course, like and follow Survivor New York.
And congrats on your 5K.
Yeah.
Valencia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that just happened. And for me, at MarkLevy85 on everything that's Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I will be releasing my top 10 movies of the year in the next few days.
Give us
excited about the list.
Boosh.
Huh?
Give me one.
RRR is my top 5.
What?
What?
RRR?
RRR, like a seal?
No, like the letters. You should watch it. Don't worry about it. It got an Oscar nominated this year. But yeah. And of course, I'll look for us next week with the next episode of our recap, which will probably be on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. ish. We're so excited because we're figuring out guests, of course, more Survivor New York alums and friends of Survivor New York, and yeah, this has been great.
Thanks for having us. Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you for coming.
We will see you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.